thank you for joining us today on What's Cooking with Teresa. We want to thank our lead sponsor, Tradition Spank, for helping make this possible. And we've also added a new sponsor this month. It's Chapel Valley Deer Processing. We want to thank them for providing most of the foods that we're preparing today. Today on the menu, we're having hillbilly soup, venison sausage balls, venison primavera, venison cheese ball, venison Polish sausage dogs, venison stroganoff, and venison tenderloin sliders with pepper mayonnaise. And as if you couldn't tell, we're having venison today. Living in Coleman, Alabama, there's a lot of deer hunting going on, and we just need to know how to prepare these things differently just to give us a variety other than putting a venison roast on the table. So we want to go now and thank our sponsors, and I want you to thank our sponsors. If you ever visit them or see any of them, tell them thank you for helping keeping the show going of What's Cooking by Teresa. We really want to thank our sponsors, and we want to thank Tradition Spank for being a lead sponsor of our show of What's Cooking with Teresa. If you're looking for a community bank, a hometown bank, you need to give Debbie a call, 256-735-2138. They have 6 locations and go in and around Coleman. One is downtown, one is Dodge City, one is Holly Pond, and then in the surrounding it's Arley, Hayden, and Priceville. So please give them a call. They have a friendly staff. Doug Doggett and his family, they're a jewelry store in Coleman that's been in business since 1981. They're located on 215 Compass Way. That's beside Ryan Steakhouse. Please stop by and give them a call because February is right around the corner. That Valentine gift is waiting down there. They're having new Sorelli jewelry that's coming in. So stop by and give them a call, 734-7883 if you're looking for just that special item. And Dr. Swader, MD, and Diana Wilhite, CRNP at CPC Neurology. They are a diagnosis and a treatment center of the nervous disorders. It includes the brain, the spinal cord, and nerves and muscles. They do EEGs, nerve conduction studies, and lumbar puncture. They're at Professional Building 3 near the hospital, Coleman Regional Center. They're open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4, and then Friday from 8 to 10, and their office number is 256-736-1615. And if you stop by there, tell them that you've seen the show, cooking show, and just let them know and you appreciate it. Also, if you're in need of a doctor in this time of year, the weather the way it is, there's a lot of sickness around. And if you need a family physician, try Coleman Primary Care. They're located on Clark Street, and that's downtown Coleman. And I believe that Coleman Primary Care is one of the only family care centers that's in downtown, and then not just an urgent care. They do full family service. They're located about 2 blocks south of the old hospital. Their office number is 734-3202, and that is 256. And not only do they offer a family practice, but to their existing clients and their existing patients, they open their doors to a walk-in, and that is Monday through Friday, but they only do it from 9 until 11 in the morning and from 2 and 4 in the afternoon. So please, if you're looking for a family physician, give them a call or stop by the office.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Coleman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for coming back to us after the sponsors. the first thing we're going to do is hillbilly soup. Now, this is a soup that my husband and I, we enjoy having when we go to the Gulf. And down there at a certain restaurant, they call it swamp soup. So up here, didn't think that would fit, so we tweaked the name a little bit. But basically, this is a quick go-to soup in the winter. This does not have any venison or wild game in it. To me, it's just a warm soup that you can enjoy anytime. What you're going to start out with, about a 27-ounce can of turnip greens. Now, you can prepare your own turnip greens, but in the case today, I've just brought the canned beans and the turnip greens already prepared and the chicken broth. So, but you can do any of this from scratch. This is just a quick fix for when you're running in and you need something quick. So all we're going to do, of course, I brought my vintage crock pot that I just adore. We're going to put in the turnip greens, and you just dump all of this in. It's no big deal. We're going to add the navy beans, one 15-ounce can of navy beans. And when you prepare any of these dry beans from scratch, from the bag, just read the directions. Every bag, every box of beans always has the full instructions. The main thing is let them soak, season them, let them cook slow. All right, we did the black beans while I was talking. And on the black beans, rinse them first because they have a dark coloration that comes through. So you want your soup to be clear as much as possible. So after the navy beans, we've added the black beans that are rinsed. Then we've drained a can of Great Northern beans, and that's a 15-ounce can also. To that, we're going to add enough chicken broth. That's going to be pretty much your soup stock. And I would say, let's see, this is a 32-ounce package. I'd probably add a couple of cups. We're going to start with that. I'm going to give it a stir, bring the turnip greens to the top. Like I said, this is wonderful with cornbread, or it's great with hush puppies. That's the way they serve it in the Gulf. So, but today I just wanted to show you a quick fix. I'm going to try to do a crock pot item on every show because everyone works so much and you're so tired when you get home. So if you don't want to do it a crock pot, do this on the stove top. 30 minutes, it's ready. I've added about a teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to add about a teaspoon and a half of salt. We're going to give it a stir. And this soup's done. All it's got to do is heat throughout, and we're ready. So we're going to set this over to the side, get it plugged up in a minute and get it going. We're going to set our chicken broth to the side, make room for the next item. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to do venison sausage balls. I know around the holidays we all make sausage balls to go to the Christmas parties and stuff, and actually there's still a few football games that's going to be happening during January, so this is a quick go-to item. So when they bring the venison home, you can Chapel Valley Processing, they're the ones that seasons the venison into the sausages and everything that we're doing today. So, okay, what we're going to start with, 3 cups of a biscuit mix. Now you can do any biscuit mix you want, any brand, doesn't matter. And to this, let me grab a spoon. To this we're going to add 1 pound of venison sausage. All I did with this recipe, I took my basic sausage ball recipe, took the pork sausage out, added the venison. We're going to add 2 cups of shredded cheese. And we're going to add, let me measure this out, because I like to use a full teaspoon of garlic. If you pinch that garlic out, usually you don't get enough because you think you've got too much. So I'm just using a garlic powder. I like to use that. It leaves some of the sodium out versus the garlic salt. I've also got some water on standby because when you're cooking, doing the sausage balls, they're so dry and they're so hard to work sometimes. So we're just going to use the water. So let me get my trusted gloves and hope I can get them on the first time. I don't want to stick my hands down into this. It's very, very nasty. We're not going to say nasty, we're going to say messy. All right. I'm going to start out by adding about 2 tablespoons of water. Just dig in. When making the sausage balls, it is a time thing. What I like to do, I make my sausage balls, prepare the mixture the night before. Sometimes I even roll the balls out and put them on the pan, cover them with saran wrap. So the day of the party or day of the event, I'm ready to go. All you have to do is pop them in the oven. Mixture's a little dry. Add a little bit more water just to make it work easier. Sausage balls, it's one of the favorites that we always carry when we have a family get-together, and it seems like they go first more than anything else. So usually I have to double the batch when I'm doing the sausage balls. Okay, a little more water. One of the things about the venison that we like at our household, it is very low in fat. So if you have to watch your fat intake, try the venison. Now, venison cannot be purchased from any of these stores simply because it is a wild game. So if you're not a hunter, find a friend that's a hunter. Be nice to them. Maybe they'll share. And usually I have found that most of the deer hunters, they like the sport, and you can only put so much venison in your freezer in 1 year. They're willing to share. So, okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to ball just a few of these out. We're going to pop them in the oven. By venison being lower in fat content, sometimes you might have to really press it good, and I think that's why I did have to add a little bit of the water to the mixture, more so than usual. So when you have these, you can feel a little less guilty. Maybe I should have had some already balled out, but that's okay. That's okay. It just gives us a little time to get to know each other, talk about the food that we're having. But Chapel Valley is actually located out there near where I live. We live out at Jones Chapel ourselves. And we've been fortunate and blessed that I come from a family of hunters. And so I pretty much always have something in the freezer that I can do. Now, if you want to throw something together and you do have some venison in your freezer, you can pull the venison out if you've got a meat grinder. Just cut it up, trim it up, put it through your meat grinder, and then add some of your own seasonings. And I know Adam at Chapel Valley is not going to mind me saying that, because there's going to be times when you're going to make this and you're going to be out of this sausage because it was so good you ate it up so quickly. So what I'm going to do during a break, I'm going to ball more of these up, and that way it's not going to take up any of your time. And I'm going to take my gloves off. What you're going to do is you're going to put these in an oven, and I've brought my little oven, my little convection oven with me today. We're going to put them in the oven on about 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending. Every oven is different. So after 10 minutes, always check your items that you put in the oven. So I'm going to pop these in. I've already had this preheating, and I preheated it to 400. Because I like to get a good crispness when you first put them in. Then I turn it back to 350. We're going to come back and check these in a little while, and hope we're going to be having sausage balls at the end of the show. So right now we're going to thank our sponsors, and please come back. We've got more good things to come. We want to thank Traditions Bank of Coleman for bringing you What's Cooking with Teresa. They're our lead sponsor, so if you ever go in Traditions, just check them out. Tell them thank you for advertising and promoting our show. Traditions is a community bank. They have low interest rates right now. They have a friendly staff, 6 locations, and it's downtown, Holly Pond, Dodge City. And in the surrounding counties, it's Arley, Hayden, and Priceville. So you need to give them a call. Call Debbie at 735-2138 and just tell them that you've seen the show and you really appreciate them sponsoring us. The new sponsor for today is Chapel Valley Deer Processing. They're located at Jones Chapel. They've been in business for 8 years. They process different sausages, steaks, roast. They do bratwurst, Italian links, anything almost. Just give them a call. Adam Hudson and Shannon Jones. The number's 256-747-8004. Chastity Jordan, we want to thank her for being a sponsor of the show. Chastity is a master cosmetologist. She's been doing this for 16 years. She works at J. Drake Salon. She can do any cuts. She can do cuts that'll fit your facial shape. She can also customize hair color that will complement your cut. She can fill the hair need for the entire family. Set up an appointment. Call her at 256-734-2042, and she might can work in a walk-in. And if you go by, tell her you've seen her ad on the show. And if you're looking for a particular piece of real estate, or if you're in need of any insurance, please give Tanya Williams a call. She has Access Realty and Farmers Insurance. She's located in Good Hope, left before Clayton Homes. She insures commercial, farm, life, auto, homeowners, mobile homes, boats, and recreational vehicles, and probably even some more that I've not got listed. Also in the real estate, she's got commercial, she's got farms, she's got Smith Lake properties, anything you need. Interest rates are low, so now's the time to give her a call, 736-2636, and that's 256. And our last sponsor is Coleman Primary Care. They're Coleman's downtown family physician office. They're located on Clark Street. They've been there for years. And it's located about 2 blocks south of the old Coleman Hospital in downtown. And the number is 256-734-3202. Please give them a call if you're in need of a physician. If you need to walk in, they have particular hours for walk-ins. Give them a call, verify the hours, and just give them a try. And we do appreciate them sponsoring us, and let them know.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Cullman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Thank you for coming back and joining us. On this segment, what we're going to do a venison primavera, and we're going to be doing a venison cheese ball because we have a few football parties left, and you might want to throw one of those together if you have guests coming over. What I've got my electric skillet already heating up. I'm going to add a little olive oil to that, 2 or 3 tablespoons. And what I have got, I've already diced up and sprinkled a little olive oil over this. We've got diced green bell pepper. We have diced red pepper, red bell, and a diced yellow bell. I use about a half of a green bell, about a half of red, and about a fourth of a yellow bell. I like the color and the nutrients that it gives. We have about, I did a half of an onion. I diced it. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to add this to our hot skillet. And hear the sizzle. If it sounds good, just think how it smells. So while these are cooking up, I like to have my vegetables tender crisp. So we're going to turn this down just a little bit. Get it going. All right. And while those are cooking, we're going to take our asparagus. I love fresh asparagus. So we're going to take those and, sorry about that, guys. Now asparagus, you never use the full stem. There's always at the end. It's tough and rubbery. You can either cut that off. I like to break it off. What I do, just grab it at the top and grab it at the end. Discard the bad end. And it'll break wherever. Sometimes it'll break close to the end. Sometimes it'll break close to the floweret part. But this is the part of the stem that you want to use in your asparagus. So it's a little time consuming, but I don't like to prepare my asparagus. I like the freshness of it. And I also do not like a soggy asparagus. That's why we added all the vegetables, the peppers and the onions first. And then on the asparagus, we're going to add that in and just let it cook just a short time. Almost finished with the asparagus. I like asparagus, so we're going to use the whole bundle. And when you buy your asparagus at the grocery store or the market or wherever, always take it out of the bundle of the rubber band that's around it, wash your asparagus, and then I get a container and I put about 1 inch or 2 of water in the container, and then I just set it down in it. And it usually gives the life, instead of a day or 2 in the fridge, it'll hold probably 3 or 4 days. Give those a quick stir. Now, I'm going to take the asparagus. You don't want the full length of the asparagus in this recipe. So all I'm going to do is just give them a rough chop. You want about anywhere from 1 inch to 1/2 inch. I'm going to do a few at a time so they won't roll off my table here. Okay. All right. Having this done, we're just going to drop them in. Now at this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to season. I'm going to do a little salt and pepper. Give a little pepper. Put about, I'm going to cut back on the salt because the venison that I'm using today, I've let that marinate in a little Italian dressing and a little Moore's steak sauce just to give it that extra flavor. So we're going to give this a stir. I'm going to put just a little garlic. I've got some minced garlic here. I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons. I've already minced this. What that is equivalent to, it would be about 2 bulbs of garlic. And you can either mince the garlic, put it through a garlic press, or just dice it up. But I love garlic. And garlic is also a healthy component. It helps with high cholesterol. So I try to incorporate garlic as much as possible. Okay, this is as long as I'm going to let these cook because I want to feel the bite of the vegetables. We're going to take these up. Isn't that pretty? You've got the color of all the vegetables going on there. And of course, anytime you see color, you think of nutrients. If you can always add a little red, and that's not counting ketchup, add that to your meals, a little yellow. I like to use an orange bell. So anytime you can do that, it would be great. Now we're going to set this aside because it's not going to sit there long. Add a little more olive oil. Because there again, your venison is going to be it's a low-fat meat. And what I've done, I took a piece of almost like a flank steak. And I just stripped that up into small strips. And actually, this was a beef recipe to begin with. And I've just transformed all of these recipes from a beef item to a venison. On the sausage balls that we've got cooking, that was just regular breakfast sausage. We transformed it and used the venison sausage. If you have time to let your meat marinate, it will take some of the, what I've heard people call the wild, gamey taste out of it. Some people like that flavor. So you can just strip this steak up, season it, and then just cook it right then. But to fit most people's palates, I usually try to let my deer meat marinate some. It just comes together so much better. The flavors get to incorporate. Can you hear the sizzle? Okay. What I'm doing, I'm turning each of these pieces of this meat so it'll all touch the heat, the elements of my electric skillet. You can do this in a wok. You can do this in an cast iron skillet. For the convenience and the depth, I'm using my electric skillet because it just comes together so quick. Okay. And while these are cooking, I have actually, before I started this, I've cooked 1 pound of pasta because this dish is going to be served over pasta. And you can use any kind of pasta. There again, since the venison is a healthy form of eating, you can use a wheat pasta. I've used a penne pasta today. I'm going to do another dish shortly that calls for pasta. So for a time saver, because we all need to save a little time, I just cooked all my pasta at the same time. I knew I was going to use a pound in this and a pound in the other. So cooking is, if you can save time in cooking, you're going to be more likely to cook at home. So, okay. Looks like we're about done here. The meat still has a little, we've cooked this to a medium doneness because keeping a little bit of the moisture inside the venison will help keep your whole dish moist. Okay, now to this, what we're going to do is the vegetables that we just cooked off, I'm going to add these back to this. This is going to be a rather large meal. Okay, now give that a quick stir. Now, I'm going to add, I've got about, sausage balls done. I've got about a cup and a half of heavy cream. All I'm going to do is just gradually, this is going to cool your skillet down some. So I've added about 3/4 of a cup to start with. I'm going to turn my heat up. And because we want this to cook pretty quick. All right. Got that going. Now, since the cream doesn't contain any chemicals, preservatives, salt, or anything, I might have to taste this shortly to see if we do have enough sodium in it. But until then, I've got about 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. And this is just the cheese that you buy in the grocery store in the containers that you would sprinkle on top of spaghetti. When I have fresh Parmesan, I love to use the fresh. If not, for a quick throw-to meal, I try to keep Parmesan in the fridge at all times because it can totally change the taste of a meal. So, all right. While we've got this going, we're going to let this reduce down, cook a little longer. While that's cooking, we're going to put together a cheese ball made with venison. So, yeah, that's coming along nicely. I'm going to set my cream out of the way. I tell you what, let's do. I love fresh herbs. I've got some cilantro here, and I have some fresh parsley. And I'm just going to pinch this up. You don't want to put too many herbs in it during the cooking time because they wilt. You don't have that pretty fresh look. But I need the flavor. I want the flavor. So we're going to stir some of the fresh herbs in. I'm going to reserve these herbs and put in at the last. Okay? Now, we're going to go to the cheese ball. I'm sorry about that. I just forgot about the herbs, and I really wanted those in there. So we're going to move some of our items over there. And on the cheese ball, all I did, I took a recipe, find a spot for that. I took a recipe just for a normal party cheese ball. They're called for ham. And I substituted it with summer sausage, venison summer sausage. I took 3 ounces of the summer sausage. I ground it in the food processor because you want it really, really minced up fine. So before I start, I'm going to put my trusted gloves on because there again, this is one dish you have to dive into. And I really want to thank Adam at Chapel Valley Deer Processing because I went there the other day just to get some of these items. Even though we do have venison in our freezer, a lot of mine are just plain. I didn't have the summer sausage, and I didn't have the breakfast sausage. So what we're going to start with on this recipe, I have let 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese come to room temperature, and I have diced about 4 small green onions. Actually, I put them in the food processor because if I can save time, that's what I'm going to do. To this, I'm adding 1 cup of shredded cheese. And this is the venison, the smoked summer venison sausage. I've ground it. It's also seasoned with jalapeno. He has different flavors. He has a plain summer sausage, but this one is a jalapeno, so it's going to have a little bite to it. And I know there's a few people that just doesn't like to eat venison. That's why I'm trying to do some different recipes today to show that there's more out there other than a roast or a steak or just plain tenderloin. And I'm going to add to this, I've got the cream cheese, the shredded cheese, the green onions, and the smoked venison sausage. I'm going to sprinkle about a teaspoon and a half of Lowry's. So all you're going to do at this point, you're just going to incorporate all of the ingredients. That's why I use my gloves, because it's a messy meal or food item to prepare, but also for sanitary reasons, because you are handling every bit of this food item. You just continue squeezing. Can you smell our venison primavera? Now, if I were to do the venison primavera and do a beef instead, just get a flank steak. You can use a flank steak, a round steak, chuck, any steak will do. You just want to slice it thinly. Okay, it looks like it's come together pretty well. Now, I can actually almost form this into a ball in the bowl, but I'm going to get my cutting board so I can just mold and shape make it a little bit easier. We're going to put the finished product on this platter here, so okay. I tell you, let's make it into a log. Cheese balls are like a festive Christmas item. We're going to make this into a cheese log when the family gets together to watch the upcoming football games. It's not going to seem like a Christmas cheese ball. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take one of my gloves off. I'm going to take just a little bit of poppy seed. I like the color that the poppy seed gives. I like the crunch that it gives when you bite into it. Sprinkle a little on top, because you can already see the color from the green onions, the color from the meat, and the color from the cheese. Now carefully, hopefully I won't mess it up too bad. If you do, you can always just reform it on your platter. I'm going to transfer it over to our platter. When we serve this, we'll put a variety of crackers around. Now, that was a simple cleanup, wasn't it? I'm just going to set this over to the side. I think I need a bigger kitchen, huh? Okay. Wonderful. Our primavera has reduced down. This is about the consistency that I want. I'm not sure if you can actually get a look at this, but when we plate it up, you will be able to. So we're going to turn this off. Got it off? We're going to plate this. See, mine is just a normal functioning kitchen also. I have to work around everything. I have already cooked my pasta, already drained my pasta, and it's ready for the primavera. Okay. Just going to plate this up. Try to do it without making too big of a mess. Okay. Now, I'm going to see if I can pour this up without making a tremendous mess. Because to spoon it over would just take too long. What I want to do is, since it does have the Teflon bottom, I'm going to scrape it all to the side. Then we're going to just pour it over. Let all the juices run down. So now when somebody says, "Do you eat venison?" say, "Sure." Okay. We still have the color of our vegetables. And the herbs that we had a few minutes ago. I'm going to sprinkle some of those on top. That is our venison primavera. We also have our cheese log that we made from our venison summer sausage. And now we're going to go and hear a word from our sponsors. And we want to thank them for sponsoring the show of What's Cooking with Teresa. And we want to thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor. So take a break, come back and join us. We're going to do another item. We really want to thank our sponsors, and we want to thank Traditions Bank for being a lead sponsor of our show of What's Cooking with Teresa. If you're looking for a community bank, a hometown bank, you need to give Debbie a call, 256-735-2138. They have 6 locations and go in and around Coleman. One is downtown, one is Dodge City, one is Holly Pond, and then in the surrounding it's Arley, Hayden, and Priceville. So please give them a call. They have a friendly staff. Doug Doggett and his family, they're a jewelry store in Coleman that's been in business since 1981. They're located on 215 Compass Way. That's beside Ryan Steakhouse. Please stop by and give them a call because February is right around the corner. That Valentine gift is waiting down there. They're having new Sorelli jewelry that's coming in. So stop by and give them give them a call, 734-7883 if you're looking for just that special item. And Dr. Swader, MD, and Diana Wilhite, CRNP at CPC Neurology. They are a diagnosis and a treatment center of the nervous disorders. It includes the brain, the spinal cord, and nerves and muscles. They do EEGs, nerve conduction studies, and lumbar puncture. They're at Professional Building 3 near the hospital, Coleman Regional Center. They're open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4, and then Friday from 8 to 10, and their office number is 256-736-1615. And if you stop by there, tell them that you've seen the show, cooking show, and just let them know and you appreciate it. Also, if you're in need of a doctor in this time of year, the weather the way it is, there's a lot of sickness around. And if you need a family physician, try Coleman Primary Care. They're located on Clark Street, and that's downtown Coleman. And I believe that Coleman Primary Care is one of the only family care centers that's in downtown, and then not just an urgent care. They do full family service. They're located about 2 blocks south of the old hospital. Their office number is 734-3202, and that is 256. And not only do they offer a family practice, but to their existing clients and their existing patients, they open their doors to a walk-in, and that is Monday through Friday, but they only do it from 9 until 11 in the morning and from 2 and 4 in the afternoon. So please, if you looking for a family physician, give them a call or stop by the office.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Cullman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs, the variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
And I want to thank you for coming back and watching the rest of the show with us. Today we're doing the venison. Almost everything we're doing today is made with venison, which is deer meat. We have it processed at Valley Chapel, Deer Processing in Jones Chapel. That's where most of our meats came from today, so we want to thank him. And what I've got started on this meal is we have a ground venison. I've already got it started. I put a little olive oil in the pan. I diced some green bell peppers and I diced some onions. Sauteed those, and when they got almost done, then I put the venison in. Now just keep in mind, any of the meals that we're preparing using the venison meat, these recipes were taken from actual beef recipes. So if you want to substitute beef for the venison, or vice versa, venison for the beef, you can change the recipes up. Now when I'm doing a stroganoff, I like to keep my chunks of meat in larger chunks rather than like a taco meat where it's pretty small. So we've got our ground beef going. We're going to let that cook fully, or ground venison. See, I'm used to doing beef also. So we've got that going. We're going to set that there. I've got another skillet heating up. We're going to put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil in this. Since our venison is naturally low in fat, you have to put some down just to keep it moist, to keep it from sticking. And what we've got here, this is a Polish sausage that has been processed and seasoned at the Valley Chapel processing plant. Now the Polish sausage, it is not a fully cooked item. It's a complete raw item. So these do have to cook fully, whereas the summer sausage that we just used in our cheese ball, that was a smoked sausage, which means you can take it right out of the fridge. No cooking is necessary. You can eat it as an hors d'oeuvre. You can use it in recipes. And to be honest, I like to use the summer sausage sometimes when I'm cooking some cabbage. It just gives it a little extra flavor. So, okay, that's looking nice. Got that going. I'm going to turn our sausages up because I want to sear these. I want to let these get good and brown. And then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to brown them on all 4 sides since they are not pre-cooked in any form or fashion. Because I want to make sure they do get completely done. Maybe we want to we'll put the lid on these so they'll hold the heat. Okay. Looks like our venison, the ground venison, is done. I did have this cooking a little while we were on the break due to the time because I wanted to be able to show you everything that we're doing and not skip a process. So we're going to turn this down on a low to a medium heat. Okay. Now to the ground venison on the stroganoff that we're doing, I have not pre-seasoned. I'm going to do a little pepper. We're going to do a little salt. And normally I would cook my garlic in with the peppers and the onions. I didn't in this case, so I'm just going to use a little garlic powder. I have garlic powder on hand just as much as I do salt. So now to this, we're going to add 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. And this is a 10.5-ounce can. Any brand will do. And actually, a cream of broccoli. You could use a cream of broccoli, a cream of celery. You can actually even saute some mushrooms in with your vegetables before you put your ground beef in. You can actually saute that in regular fresh mushrooms. Let's turn this up a little because we do want to get it going. And I've got sour cream. We're going to put about 1/4 cup of sour cream in this mixture, but not until we get it incorporated with the cream of mushroom soup. Turn it up a little more because I want, there we go. Because you need to get your cream of mushroom soup thoroughly heated. The venison is done. We just want to heat the soup. We'll set that there. We're going to check our sausages. Can you hear that? That's what you want to hear. I'm browning these sausages. You want to get a good little crisp bite on those. Okay. Giving those a turn. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little. Okay, looks like our stroganoff is coming along nicely. I'm going to turn it down. Actually, I'm going to turn it off. Okay. Got that. So we're going to open our sour cream. Get a clean spoon here. I'm just going to eyeball this. Okay. Because this is a 16-ounce container, we use about 4 ounces in this. Because you don't want the sour cream to overwhelm the flavor of the meat that you're using. Okay. Looks like it's almost stroganoff time. I'm going to give it a good stir. Turn my skillet back on because you want to add the sour cream just before you serve it. You don't want to break down the dairy product in it. You want to incorporate it. You want to get it thoroughly hot throughout, but not break down the dairy components in it. Okay. Looks like we're coming along good. We're going to give our sausages another check. Give them another turn. Sometimes it's hard to get them to stay on one of the sides. Just work with it because I like to have them all browned evenly. A little coordination here. There we go. I'll just put you in the corner. Okay. What I'm going to do is, do you remember earlier in the segment, I had told you that we pre-made pasta. When I cooked the pasta for the first dish, the primavera, I also cooked enough for the second dish. So if you're having guests over and you're having 2 different pasta dishes, unless you just want to change the pasta to save time, do both. Just make sure you measure it out evenly. That is proportion for each recipe. So we've cooked and drained our penne pasta. Add it to our platter. A little more. Okay, I believe that's going to be enough pasta. I'm going to turn our skillet off. And just as we did before, we're going to scrape it down to the side. And pour it over our pasta. And I hope I can do this without wearing my stroganoff. I'm going to turn it so you can see as it's coming out. I'm not going to get all of that out, but that's okay. We've got enough to flavor. Looks like it fell in place, so we're good to go on that. While that sits for just a few minutes, we're going to turn our skillet down. And what I've done, I have julienne, some green bell pepper, and some orange bell pepper. There again, getting the color and getting the nutrients in. We're going to unlid our sausage here. And over to the side, I'm just going to add the peppers. I think I'm jumping from one skillet to the next, but that's okay because when you're in the kitchen cooking, that's exactly what you have to be doing because nothing's going to get done at the same time. Our sausages are coming along nicely. Can you see the brown the way it's coming out? Okay, got our onions in. I have diced, I have sliced and julienned 1 medium-sized onion. In this dish, my family usually likes a little more of the onions than they do of the peppers. But can you remember going to Gatlinburg or going to the fair and getting that Polish dog? It doesn't, I mean, it really doesn't matter what they put on it or how it's cooked. It's just wonderful. It's like eating a hot dog at the ball game. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm just going to stir these around nicely. I want to put the lid back on because I want my onions to shrink down and to cook down a little. I don't want to caramelize them. I don't want them to brown, but I do want them to get just a little tender crisp for our sandwiches. Now, let me set this out of the way. I do apologize for that, but I do need to get a clean area because I want to garnish our stroganoff. Okay. Here again we have our herbs. Got a little parsley. Have a little cilantro. I love cilantro. I just love it. Okay. Now, I'm going to leave part of it whole, but I am going to dice this up. Normally I would use a cutting board, but I used it a few minutes ago. So I'm just going to very gently run my knife. You never really want to hit metal on metal, but I'm doing very gently. Okay, I'm going to mince up our parsley. And when you're using a chef's knife and you're feeding the foods through the chef knife, curl your fingers under. I've made the mistake of not doing that. Lost a fingernail once. Fortunately, it was at my house and my food. But anyway, always curl your fingers under. That way, as you get close to your fingers, it'll hit your knuckles before it hits the fingertips. Save a lot of pain. So here's our. Let's put this here so we can see what we're doing. We've got our stroganoff. Sprinkle just a little on top. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to need all of this, so I'm going to reserve it. This is what I had my bell peppers in. I'm going to reserve that. We might want to keep that. Now for a little garnish on the side. Okay, and there's our beef stroganoff. We're going to set this over. We're going to check our Polish dogs. Coming along nicely. Wonderful. Turn her back up because it does like just a couple of minutes. While it continues to cook, we're going to prepare our breads and get them ready for our sandwich. Okay. I purchased some wheat hoagie buns. They're again trying to keep on the healthy side because the Polish sausages that we're using are venison, low in fat naturally. So we're going to go with a wheat hoagie bun. We're going to go ahead, and then these are not pre-sliced. So actually I like to slice mine down the middle. Okay, just give it a little open. And you can already see a little perforations right there at the top. I've actually even used hot dog buns in this recipe. I have baked my own buns before, used those in the recipe, or you can just go to the grocery store, pick up some hoagie buns. If you happen to get the ones that are sliced along the side, that's fine too. Doesn't matter. Okay, we have these sliced. And I do believe our dogs are ready. I wish you could smell these. There's nothing like cooked onions, peppers, and meat. Okay. All right. We're going to assemble our sausages, our Polish dogs, put them on the platter. It does get a little messy. What I like to do is just pinch right on the inside of the bread. Take a sausage, cradles right in there, and truthfully, I believe I'm going to plate that, then top it with onions and peppers. Okay. I'm not talking while I'm doing this, am I? I'm concentrating. Or maybe I'm just wanting a Polish dog. That might be it. It's smelling so great. Okay. Looks like if I have a crowd, I'm going to need a larger platter, aren't I? Okay. We're just going to do 3. Might have to save this last one for later. Okay. You don't want your onions and your peppers to cook down completely because you want to see the pretty color. I like the crispness of it. I just hate to see them all cooked away. Now, here we have our Polish dogs. Our peppers have fallen off. Reapply those. You want to see the bread. Okay. And what we can do, some likes the sausages with mustard and ketchup. We'll just take one drizzle, do a little of the ketchup, now, Gatlinburg, State Fair, local fair. Where can you beat a Polish sausage dog rather than a venison dog on What is Cooking by Teresa? So I hope you've enjoyed this segment, and when we come back on the next segment, we're going to do tenderloin sliders. Most people, when you do tenderloin, you do the tenderloin, the gravy, and the biscuits, but we're just vamping it up a little bit, getting into more of the modern terms of the cooking. And so we're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we want to thank them very much. Thank Traditions Bank for being our lead sponsor, and come back and join us for the rest of the show. We want to thank Traditions Bank of Coleman for bringing you What's Cooking with Teresa. They're our lead sponsor, so if you ever go in Traditions, just check them out. Tell them thank you for advertising and promoting our show. Traditions is a community bank. They have low interest rates right now. They have a friendly staff, 6 locations, and it's downtown, Holly Pond, Dodge City. And in the surrounding counties, it's Arley, Hayden, and Priceville. So you need to give them a call. Call Debbie at 735-2138 and just tell them that you've seen the show and you really appreciate them sponsoring us. The new sponsor for today is Chapel Valley Deer Processing. They're located at Jones Chapel. They've been in business for 8 years. They process different sausages, steaks, roast. They do bratwurst, Italian links, anything almost. Just give them a call. Adam Hudson and Shannon Jones. The number's 256-747-8004. Chastity Jordan, we want to thank her for being a sponsor of the show. Chastity is a master cosmetologist. She's been doing this for 16 years. She works at J. Drake Salon. She can do any cuts. She can do cuts that'll fit your facial shape. She can also customize hair color that will complement your cut. She can fill the hair need for the entire family. Set up an appointment. Call her at 256-734-2042, and she might can work in a walk-in. And if you go by, tell her you've seen her ad on the show. And if you're looking for a particular piece of real estate, or if you're in need of any insurance, please give Tanya Williams a call. She has Access Realty and Farmers Insurance. She's located in Good Hope, left before Clayton Homes. She insures commercial, farm, life, auto, homeowners, mobile homes, boats, and recreational vehicles, and probably even some more that I've not got listed. Also in the real estate, she's got commercial, she's got farms, she's got Smith Lake properties, anything you need. Interest rates are low, so now's the time to give her a call, 736-2636, and that's 256. And our last sponsor is Coleman Primary Care. They're Coleman's downtown family physician office. They're located on Clark Street. They've been there for years. And it's located about 2 blocks south of the old Coleman Hospital in downtown. And the number is 256-734-3000. 888-888-3202. Please give them a call if you're in need of a physician. If you need to walk in, they have particular hours for walk-ins. Give them a call, verify the hours, and just give them a try. And we do appreciate them sponsoring us, and let them know.
Catering by Teresa is rapidly becoming a tradition to the people of Cullman County. For over 12 years, Teresa has catered corporate events, banquets, class reunions, weddings, rehearsal dinners, business luncheons, and holiday parties. Made from scratch meals with little or no MSGs. The variety of choices ranges from prime rib and ribeye steaks to pulled pork barbecue, grilled pork chops, and chicken cordon bleu. Also good old country cooking like meatloaf, country fried steak, and homemade soups and stews. Even specialty menus include vegetarian, diabetic, hors d'oeuvres, and appetizers. Each job is customized to fit the customer. When you want a memorable event, call Catering by Teresa today.
Welcome back to our last segment of What's Cooking with Teresa. On this one, we're going to do sliders. And sliders, if you didn't know, they're just small little sandwiches. And I've got some venison tenderloin we're going to fry up. I've got some Salisbury steak. And instead of doing a big meal with a steak, with the potatoes and stuff, I thought we'll make a slider out of it with a homemade mayonnaise and red pepper sauce to go on that. So I've got my electric skillet heated up. There again, a little more olive oil. You can use any oil you like. I prefer the olive oil. I like the taste and the flavor and the healthiness of it. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've already patted out some little Salisbury steaks patties. We're going to just add that. Get a little sizzle going here. Put that in there. What we want to do is cook these on a higher heat, like about 400 degrees. Let them brown, because the seasoning that's been put in these, they have added a slight amount of beef fat. That's what Adam at Chapel Valley Deer Processing had informed me when I was asking him about what was in the ingredients. And in all of their items, they use more natural products, more natural seasonings. So I feel comfortable with that. So we've got our Salisbury steak going. We're going to set this right there. Now we're going to do our tenderloin. And if any of you have ever seen a venison tenderloin, they're only about that big around. They're really small. So what I did, I pre-sliced these last night, and I put them between two pieces of saran wrap and used my meat cleaver and just pounded them out. So they should be almost the right size we need for our sliders. So I'm going to put this over into our skillet. What I've got in this bowl, it's flour, self-rising flour, no seasonings in it, because I find that I use less sodium and salt if I pre-bread, put in the skillet, and then salt the meat. If I put the seasoning in with my flour, sometimes I have a tendency to use more salt. And then also, if I don't use all of my flour, it's already contaminated with the meat, so I throw it away. So I'm wasting my salt and my seasonings. So I season after I put them in the skillet. Coming along nicely here. Just bread both sides. I don't pre-soak the tenderloin. I don't use a buttermilk coating mixture or an egg mixture like I would normally if I'm frying pork chops or frying chicken or frying country fried steak. Then I would dip the meat in a mixture of buttermilk and egg first. But in this case, I don't want a lot of breading. So I'm just coating both sides, shaking the excess off. Now, I believe I can get one more in there. Might as well go for it, huh? Okay. These will cook fast because they are rather thin and they're small. So I'm going to set this over to the side. Take my trusted glove off. Clean hand. And before we give these a turn, I'm not going to season the Salisbury steak. It already has the seasoning on it. but I will sprinkle just a pinch of salt on each piece of the meat before I turn it, because on the side that's already on the bottom of the electric skillet, it's already forming a crust, so the flavor's not really going to get down in that meat very much. A little pinch of pepper on each one. Some has more than most. Now we're going to give these a turn. Looks like our Salisbury steak's coming along nicely. Let me turn it down. I don't want to burn it. I wish you could smell this. It's awesome. Okay. Looks like some of our tenderloin's already ready to turn. I think I need a smaller set of tongs. Not wanting to cooperate. In a lot of cases, one turn is all you'll need. I am going to add a little more olive oil because it looks like my flour has absorbed and cooked in. It'll heat up pretty quick. It'll be fine. Give these a turn. Okay. While these are cooking, it's not going to take long, but I'm going to mix up. I've got about a half a cup of mayonnaise, and we're just going to make a little sauce for our sliders. To the mayonnaise, I'm going to put just a little bit of lime juice. It'll break, the acid will break that heavy mayonnaise flavor. All right. Now, I have already opened up, I'm not going to use that knife, I'm going to use this one. A red bell pepper. Okay, these are the roasted bell peppers you can find in the jar at your grocery store. So I'm just going to mince just a little bit of this. I may not need it all. Just eyeball it. I think the pretty fresh, I don't know, the smell of the roasted red peppers are great. Add that. Let's give it a stir and see what we've got. I'm going to do a little more. I love the flavor of red peppers. Really, and in all of our meals that we've done today, we've incorporated color, we've incorporated vegetables, the greens, the reds, the oranges. Okay, I think that's going to do it nicely. And let me get a towel. And I've already started to get some clear juice that is coming out of our Salisbury steak. So I don't want to overcook these. They're almost done. Our tenderloin is almost done. It's kind of funny. I wish you could see it. I flipped them one time, but you'll see a little bit of the blood that's coming out of the tenderloin as you cook it. One last turn is all you're going to need on these, because when the blood is coming from the top, it means the bottom part of your meat is almost at the doneness that it needs to be, forcing the meat up. So, all right, these are done. We're going to put a few sliders together with our mayonnaise, and we're going to come and try these. So, what we're going to do is get one of our Salisbury steaks. I'm going to transfer it over this way, okay? One of our tenderloins. See how quick I can do this, because I want to get Paige to come back and try some of the foods that we're going to have. What I'm going to do, so we'll have time for Paige to come back and try, I'm going to just top this with just a little bit of our pepper mayonnaise. That's our Salisbury, that's our tenderloin. And tenderloin, I'm going to do a few plain because not everybody eats the mayonnaise. And this is our sliders. All I've done is taken rolls, sliced them, and filled them. So, Paige, if you want to come back, I'm going to get this ready. And we're going to do a little testing right here. This is our food, the meals that we've already prepared. We have got the venison primavera. We've got the hillbilly soup that we have done. We've got the sausage balls, the sliders, the Polish sausage dogs, the beef, the venison stroganoff. We keep calling it beef, and then our we're going to call it the venison summer sausage log. So, Paige, are you ready, girl?
I am. I have been out here watching you cook all this wonderful food, and I'm so excited that you asked me to try it. So thank you.
Please try. Here's
right.
Here's a spoon if you do want to try the soup.
What are we going to try first?
All right. I do want you to try a little bit of this.
Let's try it. Now, what was in this again, Teresa?
This was the summer sausage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just used a handball recipe with the cream cheese, the shredded cheese, a little Lowry seasoning,
Okay, so
and
just
the green
substituted
onions.
the venison.
That's all I did. And in all these recipes, you just substitute. Take the beef out, add the venison.
Very good.
Okay?
Very good.
Now, if you'll hand me your plate, I'll plate you a little of this. This is the stroganoff.
This is my lucky day. I'll tell you what.
Put a little venison on there. And there you go. And here's a spoon. We'll get a little of the primavera there,
Okay.
if you want to try that.
Lovely.
There you go, dear.
Let's see. This is my first time to actually have venison, Teresa.
Okay. I did give you the biggest piece of meat on there, didn't I?
That's very good. It has a very good flavor.
Thank you, darling. And that's the stroganoff. What do you think?
It's wonderful.
You really can't tell the difference.
No, you can't at all. You can't at all.
The main thing, just remember, any beef recipe you have, you can substitute it for the venison. Okay?
Okay.
And I want to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you, Paige. And thank everybody for joining us on What's Cooking with Teresa. And we look forward to February's show where it's going to be all Valentine's. So please, if you need to contact me, custom catering 2012 at yahoo.com or www.customcateringbyteresa.